Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be talking about the 5 books that made me cry. In general, a lot of books make me cry, but I just picked 5 so we can make this video short and snappy. So yeah, let's get into the video. So the first book that I wrote down was Between Shades of Grey. Wow, this book really touched me on a different level because it was just so hard to see what people actually had to go through, and especially since it was historical fiction, it's based on true events, and it's hard to see how humans treated other humans, and it's hard to see that people really believed that anyone was below them in society to the extent where they had to treat them unfairly or like they're not people. Literally, it was just, I sat there reading it and so many times I cried because I was just thinking that could have been me, for example. That could have been the way I was treated, and and the people are so strong throughout, and they didn't let anything put them down. They still had hope and they still believed things would get better, and that's what made it even more heartwarming in that way, because you were like, oh, look what they're going through, and they're so still happy in ways, and I'm going through barely anything, and I'm like, oh, life is so hard. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, book number 2 is Tyler Johnson Was Here. This book I read this year, I think midway through the year, and I found it so good. I think I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And the bit that made me upset was the fact that it was about twins, and one of them ends up getting shot, and I found it so heartbreaking to see what the other twin had to go through and how he had to like make up for his brother's death in a way. And I found that so hard to read because it was seeing how the loss of one life can make someone else suffer so much, and he felt like in ways it was his fault what had gone on. And wow, it was a real touching book, and I'd really advise it to be read. Also, it's on police brutality, and that's such an important matter going on in today's world. And wow, it was just such a good book, so I highly recommend you go pick it up. Number 3 is Far From the Tree. I read this book earlier this year, and it was a really heartbreaking book because it was just about 3 people finding themselves and who they are. Overall, I think those books always tend to, you can always relate to them in some way, and I think books you can relate to often touch home more than books that you've never experienced what the characters are going through. And wow. I think all you're getting from this book is that a lot of books touch. All you're getting from this video is a lot of books touch me. And yeah, so number 4 would be The Kite Runner. I think out of all the books on this list, that one made me cry the most. If you read it, you'll understand exactly the bit I mean that will make you cry the most. And if you haven't read it, I highly recommend you read it, because I've never been touched by a book the way that book touched me. Like, just thinking about it now, like, I can feel tears coming out my eyes. It literally gave me a whole new outlook on the world, and it made me see how some people will go through anything for other people. And oh my god, I'm crying. And I loved it. I couldn't give it more praise if I wanted to. I just found it so like the way the boys treat the other boys. I'm just trying to not spoil anything. It's just, is so heartbreaking, and the way it kind of just starts in one place and then ends up coming all the way back to that place and back to the whole theme. And when I first started reading the book, I didn't understand why it was called The Kite Runner. I was like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. But as you read on, it kind of all encompasses that, and it's just an amazing read. If you read it and you don't cry, wow. Like, at least if you don't, even if you don't physically cry, you'll feel something in your heart, and it'll be like, oh wow. And number 5 would be Salt to the Sea. This book was written by the same person that wrote Between Shades of Grey, and I feel like her books just make you cry. She writes about historical fiction, and wow, and both of these were set in the war, and I just can't explain how much she writes to emotions, because every time I read a book, it's like my heart physically hurts. I'm like, and I feel like because this book showed the journey of several teenagers and kids, and it was just hard to see how kids are meant to have an innocent childhood where they grow up and they don't have to worry about anything or any problems, and it's just them growing up and finding who they are and where they fit in the world. But this is more like these kids were pushed out to the end of society, and they just are trying to find somewhere to fit in, and they have no parents left with them, and they're just struggling by themselves to live a life that every kid deserves and should have. And that's what made it even more heartbreaking, was seeing that these kids were going through so much, and they kept going through it, and in the end they just have to find who they are. And it's amazing, and I highly recommend it, as I do all these books. Go and read them. If you've read them, comment down below what you thought of them. If you agree with me, if you disagree, I don't mind. Also, comment down below any books that made you cry, and I'll give them a read if I haven't read them already. And so remember, give this video a thumbs up if you liked. And remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!